Month celebrations, we're excited about our annual KBLA Talk 1580 Black History Month luncheon honoring comedy greats. On Thursday, February 26th at the Grammy Museum in downtown LA, we're toasting D.L. Hughley, Melanie Camacho, Earthquake, Munell, Dion Cole, and Martin Lawrence with a surprise guest appearance. A limited number of individual tickets for the luncheon remain, so now would be a good time to head to KBLA1580.com to secure one for yourself. That's KBLA1580.com. A little laughter goes a long way, especially in times like these. So come, join us for our annual KBLA Talk 1580 Black History Month luncheon, Thursday, February 26th at the Grammy Museum. Again, tickets are available right now at KBLA1580.com.
Well, I hang around my boy. He's been married for 6 years. Videotaping his wedding day, never watched it. Now and every day he watch it every day, but he watch it in reverse. Because he said he loves seeing himself take that ring back off of that finger. Walking back down that aisle, just waving at her ugly mother down the church. Getting back in the limo, back at the bachelor party. Look how happy I was.
KBLA Talk 1580 thanks LA City Council members Curran D. Price Jr. and Heather Hutt for being the presenting sponsors at this year's Black History Month luncheon. Honoring excellence, resilience, and achievement, we're KBLA Talk 1580.
The blackness. Keep on. Never say die. Keep on. Blackness. Keep on. Never say die. Keep on. Blackness. Never say die. Never say die. Keep on. Never say die. Blackness. Never say die. All of this.
When in the midst of sorrow, you can't see up when looking down. A brighter day tomorrow will bring. You hear the voice of reason telling you this can never be done. No matter how hard reality seems, just hold on to your dreams, yeah.
You are listening to and streaming A More Perfect Union on KBLA Talk 1580. I'm Dr. Nii-Quartelai Quartey, your host and White House correspondent, joining you live in afternoon drive time here in LA. I'm in touch, and so you be in touch. Follow me on all the socials at Dr. Nii-Quartelai. Just type in Dr. Nii-Q, DRNIIQ, and there I am, fresh for you to follow. Also, be sure to download the KBLA app to listen to us live or on demand, or guess what? You can just tell Alexa to play KBLA Talk 1580, and there we are for your listening pleasure. Last but not least, subscribe to A More Perfect Union podcast. Subscribe to the KBLA YouTube channel, and that way we get to see each other. Well, you know what I mean. Now on to the community calendar. You know, I keep this little community calendar because, you know, I like to be outside, and chances are you like to be outside. And so if there's somewhere real cool to be outside, I'm going to let you know. And I can tell you one of the coolest places to be, May 29th through the 31st, is at the Newport Beach Jazz Festival. Did y'all see this? It's, I think, the 30th anniversary of the Newport Beach Jazz Festival. The Isley Brothers are going to be there celebrating 60 years of #1 hits, but they're not going to be celebrating alone because you're going to have folks like Lettucey in the house. Marcus Miller, who played with the great Luther Vandross, he's going to be in the house. Damien Escobar is going to be in the house along with Avery Sunshine. You know, when I covered the Vice President Kamala Harris's trip to Africa during the Ghana leg of the trip, guess who I bumped into in the hotel? Avery Sunshine, right? And so it's going to be cool to see her at the Newport Beach Jazz Festival. Damien Escobar, when I was writing my dissertation, you know how much Damien Escobar I listened to as I was writing? And so it'd be cool to see him there, as well as Pancho Sanchez is going to be there. Cy Smith, Rashawn Patterson, and Rick Braun, just to name a few. It'll be hosted by the great Pat Prescott. And so Run Don't Walk, go to HyattConcerts.com. That's HyattConcerts.com. And get your tickets. That's going to be lit. That's going to be one of the concerts to set it off. And so be sure to pull up and show your support and enjoy the groove. All right. Now it's time for your national news roundup. It's time for you to decide the good, bad, and ugly headlines this hour. First things first, let me just say that we love lifting up the people who lift us up. These are challenging times for our community, for our country, for the world. And I'm excited that Kerry Washington, Zinzi Kugler, Chase Infinity, and LaTanya Richardson Jackson, they all have been named Essence Black Women in Hollywood honorees, and we love to see it. Essence just announced the honorees for the 19th annual Black Women in Hollywood ceremony, honoring a cross-generational group of performers and producers and creative leaders. The 2026 class includes everyone I just said, and they are all being recognized as they should. The ceremony themed off script to reflect how Black women are changing the narrative in Hollywood by expanding beyond traditional roles and exerting increased creative control and long-term ownership across the industry. It's going to take place on March 12th at the Fairmont Century Plaza Hotel here in LA. Congratulations to all of those incredible women that are lifting us up and changing the game all at the same time. So, like I said, we love to see that. You know what else we love to see? We love to see folks taking their health seriously, taking your health seriously from the neck up and neck down. I'm sure a number of folks heard about the passing of James Vanderbeek, who shot to fame in the Warner Brothers hit Dawson's Creek. Yeah, I was in high school when Dawson's Creek was like the thing. Well, James Vanderbeek has passed due to colorectal cancer. And it just serves as another reminder that colorectal cancer is rising in younger adults. It's worth noting that it's a threat, not just to older adults, but increasingly to young men and women too. It's now the top cancer killer of Americans younger than 50. The trend is it's shaking everyone up, and it should not shake us into paralysis, but shake us into action. You should know that more than 158,000 cases of colorectal cancer will be diagnosed in the U.S. just this year. It's according to the folks over at the American Cancer Society. Among all ages, it's the nation's second leading cancer killer behind lung cancer, and it's expected to claim more than 55,000 lives this year. For the population overall, cases and death have inched down in recent years, and that's thanks in part to screening tests that can spot tumors early when they're easier to treat, or even prevent them if precancerous growths are found and removed. And so the key really is early detection. Early detection. The vast majority of colorectal cancer cases and deaths still occur in people 50 and older. But while that's the case, it's still relatively rare in the under 50 crowd. And so a lot of risk factors here include obesity, lack of physical activity, a diet that's high in red or processed meats and low in fruits and vegetables, smoking, heavy alcohol use, having basically IBS, inflammatory bowel disease, or a family history of colorectal cancer. And so if any of those things are a part of your family health history, if any of those things are a part of your routine, a part of your habit, consider this a public service announcement to you as well. All right, because we want everybody to live long and prosper. And that means we got to do what we got to do, and we got to take care of our body so that our body can take care of us. All right. When we come forward, speaking of folks that are fighting the good fight, I am really delighted to welcome to the show my friend and brother, James Farr. He's the host of Conversations Live right here on KBLA Talk 1580. We just a little over an hour ago, we're in Altadena. We were on the ground in Altadena at a press conference announcing a watershed moment in the fight for justice, led by the people of Altadena, the community of Altadena. We're going to tell you all about that when we come forward. You're listening to and streaming A More Perfect Union on KBLA Talk 1580.
You're listening to A More Perfect Union on KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
My son loves to fly kites, but my active psoriatic arthritis can sometimes hold me back. Now with Skyrizi to treat my skin and joints, I'm ready to go. Skyrizi, risankizumab Riza, a prescription-only 150 milligram injection for adults, helps with less joint pain, stiffness, swelling, and fatigue. For those who also have plaque psoriasis, 90% clearer skin is possible with just 4 doses a year after 2 starter doses.
Don't use if allergic to Skyrizi. Serious allergic reactions and an increased risk of infections or a lower ability to fight them may occur. Before treatment, your doctor should check for infection and tuberculosis. Tell your doctor if you have an infection or symptoms such as fever, sweats, chills, muscle aches, or cough, or if you plan to or recently received a vaccine.
With Skyrizi, there's nothing like clearer skin and better movement, and that means everything. Ask your doctor about Skyrizi today and visit skyrizi.com or call 1-866-SKY-RIZI to learn more.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580, connecting you with services and solutions. If you need help getting your resume in order, finding job training, or landing a job, we've got 3 great options for you. First, the City of Los Angeles has WorkSource centers across the area offering free job support. The California Workforce Development Board can help you with everything from GED prep to vocational training at no cost to you. On the federal level, the Department of Labor's American Job Centers offer a full range of services for job seekers and businesses alike. Visit careeronestop.org, or for more info, just call California's Help Center or visit cwdb.ca.gov or call 916-657-1440. For the City of Los Angeles programs, go to ewdd.lacity.gov or call 213-744-7300. All these services are free to help you get your next job. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
The California Crusader newspaper would like to thank all of our subscribers for their support throughout the years, proudly serving the South Los Angeles and South Bay areas for more than 40 years. The California Crusader is a multicultural, Black-owned, adjudicated newspaper that focuses on providing newsworthy information to the people in our community. We're constantly looking for ways to assist businesses in our community to connect with our subscribers. We provide low-cost, effective ways to promote your business with our reasonable and affordable advertising rates. You can participate by suggesting, sharing, and submitting your stories on the California Crusader newspaper Community Share Facebook group page, or visit our website at cal-cruise-news.com. That's calcruisenews.com. Then click on the Submit Now button located on the top right corner of the homepage, or text CCN to 42828. Again, text CCN to 42828. The California Crusader newspaper, working together to build a better community for our future. Subscribe today.
We have no permanent friends or permanent enemies. Only permanent interests as we effort to build a more perfect union.
You're listening to and streaming A More Perfect Union on KBLA Talk 1580. I'm Dr. Nii-Quartelai Quartey. And just to set the scene, just a little over an hour ago, James Farr, my friend and brother, who is with us now. He is the host of Conversations Live, Altadena Rising. We were just on the ground together in Altadena at this press conference that represents a watershed moment in the fight for justice for the people of Altadena that are still, in search of some modicum of justice following the Eaton fire. Take a listen to what Gina Clayton with Altadena for Accountability had to say at this press conference. Take a listen to just a little bit of what she had to say.
Excuse me. Good afternoon. I will be the last speaker, and then I'll turn it back over to Tanika to facilitate a short Q&A. My name is Gina Clayton Johnson. I am a total loss fire survivor. Altadena has been my home since 1985. We lost the home where my parents lived, my childhood home on St. James Place, and we also lost the home that belonged to me, my husband, and our 2 kids on El Sereno. Both homes were in West Altadena. The last time that we met on this lot in September, we were in the midst of countless questions and no accountability. We were asking, why was there only 1 fire truck sent to West Altadena? Why were disabled people who could not leave not provided evacuation support? Why, despite a $4 billion Los Angeles County Sheriff budget, was no one knocking on doors to help people evacuate? Why were people calling 911, getting no help, and then burning alive? Why did all but one of the deaths that occurred happen on the west side of Lake, the black side of town? This community did not give up on demanding that these questions be answered. Less than 1 month after the fire, some of us came together to write a letter, which over 60 groups signed, asking that that Attorney General Rob Bonta launch a civil rights investigation. From there, we built a team comprised of 3 Black-led organizations at the helm: Altadena Rising, SE Justice Group, and the California Black Power Network. We recruited 18 exceptional community leaders, all fire survivors rebuilding their lives, to lead the effort, and founded Altadena for Accountability.
You are listening to and streaming A More Perfect Union on KBLA Talk 1580. That was the one and only Gina Clayton. She is an incredible leader. I've had a chance to see her leadership up close for a very long time. We went to the University of Southern California together, and she was the president of the NAACP chapter on campus. And so you can see she's been bringing the heat for a long time. James, I want to welcome you here, and I want to invite you to give your take. What were some of the highlights that you took away from today's watershed moment in this ongoing fight for justice for the people of Altadena?
Absolutely. Thank you, Dr. Nii-Quartelai, for having me. And as always, a pleasure to be in conversation with you here on air, as well as in community. Listening to Sister Gina Clayton Johnson remarks again, right, as just as riveting as they were when we were standing there on the ground in a scrum line of press and community, and upwards of 60, 70 people were present for this, as you said, watershed announcement that the California Attorney General is launching a civil rights investigation into the disparity in the alerts and services and things that folks west of Lake in Altadena did not receive. One of the things that just still stays with me are the seniors and those with disabilities. And reading more into what the Attorney General's intent is, looking at it seems like he's going towards the American with Disabilities Act, which requires public agencies they do have a duty and responsibility to be able to communicate with folks with disabilities in the same manner that they would any other day, disaster included. Yeah.
Yeah, and for folks who are less familiar, it's being reported by the LA Times and a number of other outlets that more than a year after the devastating Eaton fire, and following months of pressure, it's not like the Attorney General just, acted on this as close to real time as possible. It's taken a minute. Taken a lot of organizing work from the people of Altadena. California Attorney General Rob Bonta has opened a civil rights investigation into the fire preparation response, looking particularly at potential disparities in historic Black West Altadena. And so it's worth noting this investigation. It comes after a series of investigations by the LA Times, where they found that West Altadena, a historically Black community, for folks that are listening in other parts of the country and the world, you need to know that Altadena is a historically West Altadena is a historically Black community.
Mm-hmm.
They received late evacuation alerts and limited firefighting resources as the fire raged out of control, particularly when compared to more affluent eastern half of the unincorporated town. And the fire damage was particularly widespread in West Altadena, and almost all of the fires, 19 deaths, occurred, guess where? In West Altadena.
Yeah.
Among them, 54-year-old woman whose family claimed that she died because of the delayed evacuation alerts. And so, James, talk to us about what are you hearing from the people of West Altadena about the California Attorney General finally deciding to move forward with this civil rights investigation. Is it too little too late, or are folks cautiously optimistic that this investigation may lead somewhere really important?
I think one of the things we heard this afternoon at this press conference, one of the speakers remarked, and speaking in the future tense, that she was speaking to all of our descendants in one respect, right? Like that this is being documented, this is being recorded in the present day so that they don't have to, wonder what happened in the future. So there is some optimism. Another speaker remarked that she can now finally grieve, like there is some hope. There's some sense of some semblance of something that's an independent investigation, looking into what you've known, I've known, your audience knows. It doesn't take a fancy report and a law degree or to be elected by the people of the state of California as the Attorney General to figure out somebody or somebody's didn't do their damn job, Dr. Nii-Quartelai. That's what happened. It's a hard thing to accept. And the people of Altadena, they do deserve the answers and the justice and the accountability that they're looking for.
Yeah. Let's talk about the legal precedent. This is something that Gina Clayton Johnson shared during her remarks. She talked about the importance of the investigation and setting a precedent for future climate disasters and ensuring that civil rights laws are enforced. James, in our remaining minutes, talk to us about the precedent here. Look, we have a president that just today, ratcheted up efforts to pull away from conclusions that so many of us have believed was settled, right? That climate change was creating some harmful effects, that fossil fuels are creating harmful effects to the air that we breathe and the water that we drink. And this president has decided to bury his head in the sand and say, no, it ain't. Generations of Americans, generations of people around the world will pay a price for this. And so you have that happening in Washington, but yet and still you have this attorney general who decided to be brave and move forward with the civil rights investigation. Gina shined a light on the fact that this is creating a precedent where other states that may be experiencing natural disasters like the Eaton Fire, who may be experiencing, some severe weather events, they may also decide to launch their own civil rights investigations if, in fact, there's reason to believe that people in the position to act didn't act. People in positions of power, influence, and authority abuse that authority or turn a blind eye. When we come forward, James, I want to give you a chance to cook and talk about what this precedent could mean, not just for Black folks in West Altadena, but Black folks across this country and people that continue to be passed over and cast aside when it comes to justice after similar disasters. You are listening to and streaming A More Perfect Union on KBLA Talk 1580. More when we come forward with my friend and brother and KBLA host, James Farr.
The audience is listening, thought-provoking, eye-opening, heart-rendering. This is where authentic voices meet powerful discussions on culture, community, and change. This is where Black voices matter. He's breaking boundaries, amplifying diverse perspectives, and tackling the issues that matter most to you. You're inside A More Perfect Union with Dr. Nii-Quartelai Quartey on KBLA Talk 1580.
I'm Amber Payton with BIN News Now. President Trump is rolling back greenhouse gas rules he says drove up car prices. Standing with EPA Administrator Lee Zeldin, Trump called the Obama-era regulations harmful to the auto industry.
This action will eliminate over $1.3 trillion of regulatory costs.
He also wants to eliminate automatic start-stop features. Zeldin says ending strict emission standards and electronic vehicle mandates could save families about $2,400 on new vehicles. President Trump has posted photos and videos on Truth Social showing himself with prominent Black figures, including Oprah Winfrey, Jesse Jackson Sr., and Mike Tyson, after facing backlash over a racially charged post about the Obamas. And Florida senators unanimously approved a plan to build a Black History Museum in St. Augustine to preserve the state's Black history. The museum would sit on the former Florida Memorial University campus and now awaits House approval. Get BIN News Now on demand 24/7 on the iHeartRadio app.
Mid-City, it's a crash on the 10 eastbound at National. These guys are out of lanes to the right shoulder, but the drive doesn't know it because you're on the brakes all the way out of Santa Monica, pushing back from 20th Street. South LA, another wreck. 110 southbound just past Florence. These guys off to the shoulder, but the drive is loading up out of downtown Los Angeles, getting away from the 101. Northbound delays for the 110 freeway, starting all the way at the 91, getting out of Gardena, taking you ahead to the 5 in Elysian Park.
Now is the time to save on an award-winning Nissan at the Nissan Now sales event, featuring the Rogue, Pathfinder, Frontier, and more. Don't wait. These offers are going fast. Shop your Southern California Nissan dealers and NissanUSA.com today.
This is the KBLA Sports Minute with Ray Richardson.
The UCLA women's basketball team, ranked number 2 in the country, continues to be a dominant force this season. The Bruins extended their winning streak to 18 games after their 23-point win Wednesday night at Michigan State. The Bruins are 24-1, 14-0 in the Big Ten. They have 9 wins over top 25 opponents. Major props to the NBA for covering all expenses for the 2 schools in town this week for the HBCU Classic. The men's basketball teams at Hampton University and North Carolina A&T meet up Friday night at the Forum in Inglewood. In addition to the players and coaches, The NBA covered air travel, hotel, and in-town transportation costs for the marching bands, cheerleaders, and support staff at both schools. Hampton and North Carolina A&T will each receive a $100,000 donation from the NBA for agreeing to play in the HBCU Classic. No debates, no speculation, just the info you need. That's your KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson on KBLA Talk 1580.
What's up? What's up? What's up? You got to laugh the pain away.
Hey, KBLA delegation, happy Black History Month. Around here, we celebrate our culture, our community, and our contributions daily. But this year, as we observe the 100th anniversary of Black History Month celebrations, we're excited about our annual KBLA Talk 1580 Black History Month Luncheon, honoring comedy greats. On Thursday, February 26th at the Grammy Museum in downtown LA, we're toasting D.L. Hughley, Melanie Camacho, Earthquake, Munell, Dion Cole, and Martin Lawrence with a surprise guest appearance. A limited number of individual tickets for the luncheon remain, so now would be a good time to head to KBLA1580.com to secure one for yourself. That's KBLA1580.com. A little laughter goes a long way, especially in times like these. So come, join us for our annual KBLA Talk 1580 Black History Month Luncheon, Thursday, February 26th at the Grammy Museum. Again, tickets are available right now at KBLA1580.com.
Well, I hang around my boy. He's been married for 6 years. Videotaped his wedding day, never watched it. Now and every day he watch it every day, but he watch it in reverse. Because he said he loves seeing himself take that ring back off of that finger. Walking back down that aisle, just waving at her, ugly mother down the church, getting back in the limo, back at the bachelor party. Look how happy I was.
KBLA Talk 1580 thanks LA City Council members Curran D. Price Jr. and Heather Hutt for being the presenting sponsors at this year's Black History Month Luncheon. Honoring excellence, resilience, and achievement, we're KBLA Talk 1580.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580 reminds you, when we fight, we win. The Youth Justice Coalition is challenging America's addiction to incarceration and discrimination. YJC works to dismantle policies leading to mass incarceration, law enforcement violence, and the school-to-prison pipeline. Their approach, transformative justice, community intervention, free LA high school, legal defense, and system monitoring. YJC promotes safety without relying on prisons. Their goal, prevent system contact and help people exit the system through direct action, advocacy, and education. Want to get involved or need help? Call 323-235-4243. That's 323-235-4243. Join YJC in creating change. When we fight, we win. KBLA Talk 1580, your voice for justice. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
KBLA Talk 1580. Talk radio. That's music to your ears. We're unapologetically progressive. KBLA Talk 1580.
Hit me.
National news of consequence. Informed opinion. Analysis beyond the headlines. You're listening to A More Perfect Union on KBLA Talk 1580.
My name is Lauren Randolph, and I am an altogether Black captain, a wife, a mother of 2 daughters. We lost our home in the Eaton fire, and 5 months ago, I stood here on this very lot and shared my story as a member of Altadena for Accountability. 1 year later, I still remain in disbelief when I describe what happened to my beautiful mountainside community. 19 lives lost, and over 9,000 homes destroyed overnight. When my husband and I moved to Altadena 8 years ago, we found our home west of Lake, a block from Cheney Trail and Loma Alta Park. Home after home, owned by generations of Black families. Their eyes lit up when they saw us move in, and they welcomed us as the next generation of Altadenans. And on January 7th, tens of thousands of Altadenans were displaced. Over half were Black and brown families. When a community like this is destroyed overnight, its legacy is instantly marred. There are details surrounding the response to this disaster that we have been unwilling to ignore. We all deserve the truth, accountability, and answers. And I am grateful that Attorney General Bonta answered our call. In today's world, it feels like accountability is something that's unfortunately rare. But today we are reminded that when we work together as a community, we cannot be ignored.
You are listening to and streaming A More Perfect Union on KBLA Talk 1580. You were just listening to and streaming Lauren Randolph. She's with Altadena for Accountability. She's one of the block captains. She is no stranger to A More Perfect Union. She has been on this show a number of times to update us on the recovery journey that she and her family and neighbors have been on. And on a personal note, Lauren and I went to college together. And so when we talk about the impact that these fires have had on the people of Altadena, these aren't distant folks to me or James. These are people that we have been rocking with for a long time. These are people that we're in community with. And that's part of the reason why here at KBLA Talk 1580, we are so committed to continuing to uplift the stories of those impacted by the Eaton fire in Altadena, and also, folks who've been impacted by the fire in the Palisades. We know that it hits different, and we are zeroing in on what is happening, particularly on the Black side of town, because that's the side of town that folks have a tendency to forget. They have a tendency to under-resource. They have a tendency to exploit, and we don't want to see any of that happen. And so that's why we are committed to this work and witness. And in that spirit, I want to invite back to the show James Farr, my friend, my brother. He is the host of Conversations Live, Altadena Rising, right here on KBLA Talk 1580 every weekend. If it's 10 a.m. on a Saturday, you want to tap in. You want to tap in because he is in the business of uplifting the voices that when the national news media moves on, when those cameras move on, when those microphones move on to the next story, James and the team have been right here, still passing the mic to our folks. And we love him and his work and witness for that. James, before the break, we were talking about California Attorney General Rob Bonta, really setting a precedent. We haven't seen an attorney general anywhere launch a civil rights investigation following a disaster like the Eaton fire that we saw here in the area. I want to give you an opportunity to talk about what this might mean, not just for Black communities, but marginalized communities across the country. We don't see attorney generals busting this kind of move every day. Talk to us about the significance of this precedent.
I think it's a monumental feat that Attorney General Bonta has decided to move forward with this investigation. And if you can imagine, Doc, I mean, 19 lives were lost in this fire. Right. And one was too many, and 19 are certainly too many. But it's hard to wrap your mind around when you really get inside of what really was happening with these alerts. How many more could have become casualties as a result of what they are seeking to uncover? And so if in other communities, in other cities, in other municipalities, and specifically within our community, right, this is at the core of activism, right? This is at the core of the people voice. This is redress. It's plain and simple. The people have a right to confront who they believe in a court of law are responsible. And so this is about our tax dollars at work for us. Why on this day did you people, government, not work? It's that simple. It's not January 6th. Why didn't you work? It's on January 7th, right? And with all due respect and empathy and sympathy for the folks in Palisades, Palisades was started by an arson. What happened to the folks in Altadena? There's a causation, which is a utility company, Southern California Edison, and then there are layers of other public agencies that failed to show up to work that particular day. So I think as many things in the nation go, as California goes, so goes the other nations. Maybe other attorney generals will have the fortitude to launch such investigations when the next natural disaster, or in this case, maybe it's a man-made and natural disaster, right? Any combination of the two or three or whatever it is. But the people have a right to see their tax dollars at work. The federal government is the only entity that their spending isn't attached to tax revenue. So the president, you asked earlier, he could release the billions, I believe it's $40 billion in relief funds to the state of California, which would free up the state and kind of trickle down to the county to be able to help people with more resources more immediately.
Yeah, and look, the people, what I heard on the ground today is that the people of Altadena are not waiting for the president of the United States to do the right thing. They're not waiting on the administration to do what previous administrations have done, both Democratic administrations and Republican administrations. In times of crisis, they weren't playing politics with federal resources, withholding critical resources. We know that there are folks on the ground in Altadena where the clock is ticking. And they've had some relief, some modest relief when it comes to making their mortgage payments and wherever it is that they're renting, but that clock is about to run out. And a lot of them, are feeling a little queasy right now about having to pay an LA area mortgage and an LA area rent while they are waiting to rebuild the home that they lost at no fault of their own.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's so, that's one bucket of people, right? Who have the assisted living expenses, had some form of insurance, had some sort of policy or benefit to tap into to kind of, hold them over for the last 13 months, right? And have to pay for rent at market rates and have the cash to get into the apartment or wherever, all the things that came with it. Then there's those who had none of that, right? And they are still trying to get by and figure out what they're going to do. And so what you're seeing is this resilience from people in Altadena and the community and their desire to put a shovel back in the ground. But it's a heavy lift to even get to that point.
It's a heavy lift, but this is a watershed moment. Make no mistake about it. Part of what we also heard during today's press conference on the ground in Altadena, we heard a number of speakers, particularly Gina Clayton Johnson, really explain the importance of civil rights law and desperate impact analysis. We know that the Trump administration has not been shy about their intention to get rid of desperate impact analysis. They want to get rid of it. We've seen as much from HUD Secretary Scott Turner, and we're seeing it in the EPA. They have their eyes set on that. James, for folks who don't understand the value of the federal government doing a desperate impact analysis, can you quickly sort of give us a 101 on what difference that has made in over the years, and what's at stake if that desperate impact analysis goes away?
What you're looking at is systems, right? And it's looking to identify systemic issues. For example, it could be it in banking, be it in hiring. We're really, what you're asking the federal government to do is let's identify how practices, policies, and the like, right, impact hiring, positions, salaries, all of the things, right? Folks living with disability, you talking about marriage equity. I mean, you could pour a whole lot into that bucket. What the Trump administration has endeavored and are becoming successful at doing is stripping away some of the tools that kind of basically make you say, nah, that's not what's really happening, right? And you would think, and what I'm holding on to in Attorney General Bonta's investigation is the American with Disabilities Act. You would think black, blue, green, yellow, purple, or whatever, right? We all will age. We all will become disabled. And you would think that, you know, babies and old folks and the disabled would be off the table. But I don't think there's any limit to what the Trump administration and specifically President Trump is willing to do to just gut everything.
Yeah. Well, look, this investigation, this civil rights investigation launched by California Attorney General Rob Bonta, has been a long time coming, but it has come to pass. And it's come to pass because there were a number of concerned residents of Altadena. Make no mistake about this. This was community folks coming together and keeping their eye on this very important piece of the puzzle, that is following the facts. That's all they've been asking for, is for the California Attorney General to follow the facts so they can be clear about what happened, who's responsible, who should be held accountable, and what lessons we should glean from this tragedy so that no other community has to experience what the people of Altadena have experienced and are still experiencing. And so they have been laser focused on California Attorney General Rob Bonta for nearly a year, a little over a year. And after a January 23rd face-to-face meeting, today, February 12th, the California Attorney General announced this launch of the civil rights investigation. This is a big deal. The investigation will start with the Los Angeles County Fire Department, but may expand to include other agencies, folks on the ground, hoping that the scope of this investigation is not narrow, but it's as wide as it needs to be and that it follows the facts. You better believe we're going to continue to follow every step of this investigation. And your first stop should be Conversations Live, Altadena Rising on KBLA Talk 1580, hosted by my friend and brother, James Farr, who has been doing an extraordinary job hosting that show, our show of record, to make sure that we keep this issue on the front burner, these set of issues on the front burner, because as James just noted, as goes California, as goes the nation. So if we don't get this right in Altadena, we may not be able to get it right in other communities across the country and around the world. That's what's at stake. James, what can we expect quickly on your show on Saturday?
This Saturday, we're doing, being that it's Valentine's Day, my guest will be Dr. Melina Abdullah, and we're going to be talking about a very storied activist here in the community, Michael Zinzin, and his message to the grassroots. Michael was a community activist, very storied cable access personality here in Los Angeles, a larger than life figure. And so we're going to reclaim Valentine's Day with resistance and love and a message to the grassroots. That's coming up this Saturday.
We appreciate you. Have a great show. And again, check out Conversations Live, Altadena Rising at 10 a.m. Pacific, right here on KBLA Talk 1580. The quiet part out loud not alive, the quiet part out loud when we come forward. You're listening to KBLA Talk 1580. Thank you, brother.
Thank you, sir.
Striving to make America a nation as good as its promise. This is A More Perfect Union on KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
What if poetry wasn't something you studied, but something you felt? Poetry for the People, the June Jordan Experience, is now live at the Fountain Theater in Los Angeles, celebrating the life and legacy of June Jordan, visionary poet, activist, and truth teller. This vibrant musical experience brings her words to life with rhythm, joy, and power. Directed by Raymond O. Caldwell and featuring music by her longtime collaborator Adrian Torf, it's joy is resistance, love is liberation, and poetry for the people. Tickets are on sale now at fountaintheater.com. That's fountaintheater.com.
Ready to order?
Yes. We're earning unlimited 3% cash back on dining and entertainment with the Capital One Saver Card. So let's just get one of everything.
Everything?
Fire everything. The Capital One Saver Card is at table 27 and they're earning unlimited 3% cash back.
Yes, Chef! This is so nice.
Had a feeling you'd want 3% cash back on dessert.
Ooh, tiramisu.
Earn unlimited 3% cash back on dining and entertainment with the Capital One Saver Card. Capital One, what's in your wallet?
Terms apply. See CapitalOne.com for details.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580, connecting you with services and solutions. The Los Angeles Regional Food Bank is on a mission to fight hunger and provide nutritious food to those in need across our community. They partner with federal, state, and local programs advocating for better policies and funding for critical hunger relief programs like Cal Fresh, the Emergency Food Assistance Program, and the Child and Adult Care Food Program. The food bank works with coalitions and local representatives to make sure hunger is addressed in every district of LA County. They also run nutrition education campaigns, raise hunger awareness, and source nutritious food for distribution, all while supporting regulations that allow food pantries to operate safely. Want to help? Visit lafoodbank.org or call 323-234-3030 to volunteer or find a food bank near you. Together, we can ensure that no one goes hungry in Los Angeles County. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
Check it out.
After nearly 40 years of conversations with presidents, poets, and cultural icons, I have learned that the difference between a good conversation and an unforgettable one is not what you say, it is how you listen. Most people listen to respond. I learned to listen to learn and follow. When you master this, something remarkable happens. People just open up. They leave the conversation feeling truly heard, and they never forget you. Hi, I'm Tavis Smiley, and for the first time in my life, I'm teaching everything I have learned. The Art of Conversation, a 4-week masterclass for podcasters, leaders, and professionals who understand that the ability to connect is their greatest competitive advantage. Our founding cohort starts Monday, February the 16th, and only a limited number of seats remain. Enroll right now at TavisTalks.com. That's TavisTalks.com.
Yeah, this is all good.
Notable journalists, industry leaders, lawmakers, change makers, tastemakers, and you, working to build a more perfect union on KBLA Talk 1580.
You are listening to and streaming A More Perfect Union on KBLA Talk 1580. In our remaining minutes, I want to use our precious time to lift up some of the words of officials in Minnesota who've been reacting to the federal government's announcement that they're ending these ICE crackdown, the ICE crackdown in Minnesota. Our friends over at The Root are reporting that Attorney General Keith Ellison has said, quotes, tragically, the surge is ending too late for Renee Good and Alex Preddy and all who love them. It's ending too late for Liam Conejo Ramos and the other children who will have to live with the trauma of their detention. It's ending too late for everyone who was wrongfully and illegally detained. It's ending too late for Minnesotans who've endured racial profiling, for businesses that have closed, for children that couldn't go to school, for the people who have fallen behind on their rent because they couldn't safely go to work. Representative Ilhan Omar saying, quotes, Operation Metro Surge has exposed just how far ICE is willing to go to intimidate and terrorize Black, brown, and immigrant communities in our state. Communities of color were forced into hiding regardless of their status, and those who dared to live their lives were often arrested with no cause. This was not public safety. That was an authoritarian abuse of power. The new mayor of St. Paul, Mayor Kaholi Her, said, quotes, "Federal law enforcement officers have too often used generic police uniforms to obscure their identities and avoid being clearly identified by the agencies that they represent. This practice has created confusion. It has eroded trust and strained relationships between our community and local law enforcement. We are establishing clear rules of engagement and insisting on greater transparency from federal authorities. Our residents deserve to know who's operating in their city simply by looking at them. Transparency is essential to accountability, and accountability is essential to protecting the rights and safety of our community." Our thanks to those local leaders on the ground in Minnesota who continue to make a difference with their voice, with their work, and their witness. We're going to have to leave it there. My thanks to the entire village helps us produce a more perfect union each and every day. To our executive producer, Tavis Smiley, to our sound engineer, Brother Andy, to our show producers, Faraji and Art, and of course, each and every one of you, all of our leaders, learners, and listeners. We curate the show every day, every single day, with a lot of love and with you in mind. We hope you've enjoyed it. Until next time, remember, don't panic, organize, do what you can from where you are with what you have. I'm Dr. Nii-Quartelai Quartey. You've been listening to and streaming A More Perfect Union on KBLA Talk 1580.